Welcome everyone to Grand Tour Wrestling Friday Night All-Star. Welcome to tonight's Thanksgiving special, and boy, what a card do we have for you tonight. Coming up, we have our opening match as Farouk finally settles his differences with John Bradshaw Layfield in a hardcore match. These two, once brothers in arms, once best friends, a tag team, will be facing off in a bitter rivalry. This match is over 20 years in the making. And also, Rachel Rodriguez, the newly crowned women's champion who has won from the Survivor Games Women's Gauntlet, will be defending against Japanese star and WWE star Asuka. The tag team titles are on the line as Tony D'Angelo and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo will be challenging Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley for the tag team titles. Also, the United States title will be on the line as Rob Van Dam will be defending against the criminal Aiden Andrews. Another tag team belt on the line as the tag team intergender titles will be on the line as the Russian Gladiator Andre Armstrong and his new partner Jamie Hayter will be defending the intergender tag team titles against Rebecca Troy and Damian Maximus of the Old Gods. And for our main event, the Grand Tour title, the most prestigious of them all in GTW, will be on the line as the mighty God Hercules will be defending against the demon Dio Sebation. But first, we're going to be hearing from Grand Tour Wrestling Hall of Famer, the demon Douglas Sebastian, here on GTW All-Star. Ladies and gentlemen, GTW Hall of Famer, the demon Douglas Sebastian. I have to say, it's good to be back in a GTW ring. And it is great to be standing in a ring that looks very familiar. Back in my day, it looked much like this. Red, white, and blue ropes. This brings me back. Indeed, All-Star is a great tribute to the past, but among this tribute arena, I see a lot of the new. For example, I do not remember an entrance stage ever looking that fancy. Back in my day, it was a curtainway with a sign that said GTW and a lot of fancy lights. The barricade was just a metal fence. And we never had such an expensive announcer desk next to the ring. I also see they finally updated the logo. Believe me, the old one was nice, but you can definitely see they actually started getting a real graphic artist behind the scenes. Kudos to that amazing artist, Infinite Fantasy. Hats off to you. Now, I might be old-fashioned, but I'm also old enough to know that I have the privilege to watch things evolve. Tonight is about to honor is the past. We are going to celebrate the present and look onto the future. Grand Tour Wrestling is doing well under its leadership with the control of director Charles Elliott. In my day, we had a commissioner named Paul Roberts. And he was an asshat, let me tell you. We did not see eye to eye. He always tried to screw me out of the belt, put me in unwinnable matches, such as handicaps, but I always prevailed. Then I got old, and my injuries caught up. Unfortunately, I had to retire, but my legacy continues to live. The legacy of GTW continues through modern talent such as the Chosen One, Steven Dynamite. Amazing female stars like Amanda Price or Brenda Bison. Hell, I'll even give Hercules his dues on making this company what it is today. However, there are two who have carried my legacy and this company. First, I would like to congratulate my daughter. I know her by her real name, but the rest of the world knows her as the Witch. You have made me so proud. Congratulations to our new Women's United States Champion. And then there's my oldest son, Dio. The man that carried the Sebation name in pro wrestling. A former world heavyweight champion, much like his old man. Tonight, he will be in a main event competing against Hercules in a steel cage for a title I never had the honor of winning myself. The Grand Tour Championship. Tonight, he will honor the past by carrying the Sebation torch. He will celebrate the present when he competes in the ring tonight, and we will look forward to the future when he becomes the first in our family to be crowned Grand Tour Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the event and welcome to Friday Night All-Star. Amazing words by the Hall of Famer, the Demon Douglas Sebation, father of Dio Sebation and the Witch, who has come out here tonight to greet the fans. This is Infinite Fantasy, and we're live here at Washington, D.C. for Friday Night All-Star. Welcome all you Grand Tour Wrestling fans, and boy do we have an amazing card tonight. And we're going to start things off with a bang with a street fight as we have Farouk going one-on-one against JBL in a hardcore rules match. These two, once best friends, brothers in arms, they were once a tag team known as the Acolytes, or the APA if you will. These two had a falling out 20 years ago. And now, Farouk has made his return to the ring to settle things with John Bradshaw Layfield once and for all in his 20 years in the making match, coming right here on Grand Tour Wrestling Friday Night All-Star.
The following contest is an Extreme Rules match. Making his way to the ring from Warner Robins, Georgia, weighing in at 275 pounds, Farouk!
And here comes Farouk. Now out of retirement, we had a little preview of what these two could do to each other back at Survivor Games when they were the first two contestants in the men's gauntlet match. But now, there will be no third wheel. There will be no outside parties. It's going to be Farouk versus his old best friend, John Bradshaw Layfield, one-on-one. No disqualification, no count-out, anything goes as these two finally settle the differences in a street fight.
And his opponent from New York City, weighing in at 290 pounds, John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL.
The crowd in the sold-out arena here at Washington, D.C. is absolutely static as these two former best friends are about to go off. One time, thick as thieves, these two went to business as the Acolytes Protection Agency. But after a big falling out, when Farouk was fired from the rival promotion and JBL decided to stay to further his career, Farouk has finally returned here into a ring in GTW to get revenge on JBL. It is debatable on who is right or wrong in this, but all I know is that these two brothers are about to go at each other. This is beyond just a competition. This is going to be personal between these two former best friends. I'll tell you this, no amount of money in the world is going to get JBL out of this. This is going to be a fight. Here goes the bell and they're off. And JBL starting right off the bat with a big boot onto Farouk. Here's lifting up, slamming his knee, and you can see how personal it is between these two as JBL goes on an all-out assault on Farouk here. There he is, putting Farouk in a crossface, looking for a submission hold. And there's Farouk throwing elbows, trying to fight his way out of it. And here we go, we got a comment by Bowling God 74 saying, gobble, gobble, gobble. Get ready, this match is going to be crazy. It's going to be hardcore at our nation's capital. I could not have said that better myself, Bowling God. This is going to be absolutely nuts as these two former best friends go into this huge slobber knocker against each other. And there's Farouk raking the back of John Bradshaw Layfield. And there's JBL now going for an Irish whip. Farouk reverses, throwing JBL over the top rope. And there's JBL hanging over the top rope as Farouk hammers into his back. Farouk going for a headbutt, but misses. JBL rolling out of the way at the last second. The two grappling up now. Farouk throwing those elbows into the ribs of JBL. You can just see how well these two know each other as they're going counter for counter with each other. Farouk starting things off as he gets out of the ring, pulling out a sledgehammer from under the ring. And there's Farouk attacking JBL, slamming that heavy metal into the ribs of his former best friend, John Bradshaw Layfield. But it doesn't look like Farouk's done. He wants to lay punishment into JBL, now bringing out a wooden guitar from under the ring, and he smashes it right over the head of JBL. JBL going for a clothesline. Farouk ducks under the first, but JBL comes in with a second. And now, JBL getting out of the ring, looking to find his bearings in this hardcore match. Here he is, going under the ring. And JBL bringing in a steel chair. Farouk looking a little too confident, but he might have just paid for his ego as JBL hits him over the head with the steel chair. And JBL with bad intentions in mind as he sticks the steel chair into the corner, possibly setting up for a weapon later on. And there he is, softening JBL with the powerbomb before going for the cover. 1, 2. However, Farouk able to kick out. There's JBL going for the Irish whip on Farouk. Farouk coming off the ropes. JBL jumping over. And he goes for a clothesline, but Farouk counters and then drops the elbow on JBL. Here he is, two shots in the ribs and a headbutt. JBL is down. Farouk now with that sledgehammer. JBL counters. And here comes Farouk with a counter of his own. JBL, another counter. These two counter after counter. JBL coming in with a clothesline from hell onto Farouk. Now here's JBL going into the ring, taking out a trash can. All the weapons coming out in this hardcore match. JBL picking Farouk up. He was about to go for snake eyes across the ropes, but he counters and takes out the back of JBL's leg. And Farouk with a clothesline of his own onto John Bradshaw Layfield. JBL, knowing exactly what's coming, rolls out of the ring, getting the safety. Farouk grabbing that steel chair. And JBL rips it right out of his hand, throwing it across the ring. And here comes the Irish whip. Farouk coming off the ropes. JBL goes under. And an elbow, but Farouk just takes it. And here comes a kick to the midsection as Farouk went to go for a suplex. However, JBL counters another clothesline by JBL. And now JBL with the Irish whip on Farouk. Clothesline from hell by John Bradshaw Layfield as he goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and JBL wins the match. Farouk doesn't look too happy with the result here. He's saying you won the match, but this ain't over. And I don't think Farouk is going to rest until he finally gives JBL his just desserts. Coming up next on Friday Night All-Star, the Women's Championship on the line. It was just a couple of weeks ago when Rachel Rodriguez, with an upset victory, has won the Women's Gauntlet at the Survivor Games pay-per-view event. And she'll be going for her first title defense against Asuka. In Rachel Rodriguez's corner will be Jennifer Love, who has been in a war against Damage Control over the last few weeks. And in Asuka will be fellow Damage Control member Dakota Kai, coming up here in his Women's Championship match on Friday Night All-Star.
The following is scheduled for one fall and is for the Women's Championship.
And here comes Asuka being come to the ring by Damage Control member Dakota Kai, that challenger for the Women's Championship here tonight. And ever since coming into GTW, Asuka has been wreaking havoc here in Grand Tour Wrestling. At first, her and Io Sky trying to challenge the Syndicate for the Women's Tag Team titles and had failed. And now, Asuka targeting Rachel Rodriguez for the women's title. This all started with Jennifer Love as she was screwed after a qualifying match against Dakota Kai thanks to the interference of Asuka. Since then, Jennifer Love has been in this war against the entire faction of Damage Control and would have gotten injured after being assaulted by the entire group if not for the aid of Rachel Rodriguez. As a result, Asuka has challenged Rachel Rodriguez to a one-on-one match, and the women's title will be on the line in Rachel Rodriguez's first title defense. Now this woman is everything if impressive. Not even a month ago was nothing more than an undercard wrestler, wrestling in dark matches, house shows, and the occasional GTW Underground show. And she just completely skipped mid-card, completely skipped the beginning stages of the main roster as she had won a qualifying match to get into the Women's Gauntlet at Survivor Games. It came down to her and the infamous Amber Charlotte at the end of the gauntlet. And with an upset win, just like that, not only has Rachel Rodriguez jumped to the main event status, but has become Women's Champion.
Introducing the challenger from Osaka, Japan, Asuka! And her opponent from Los Angeles, California, the Women's Champion, Rachel Rodriguez!
And there she is, Rachel Rodriguez, the newcomer who, with an upset victory, has become champion of the women's division with her first title defense against Asuka right here, right now on Friday Night All-Star. And here comes the bell. And Asuka starting strong with those strikes onto Rachel Rodriguez. Rachel Rodriguez thus far has impressed GTW with her upset victory, winning the Women's Championship. But will that reign last long? This will be her first title defense, but by no means is Asuka going to be an easy opponent. She could very well lose the women's title as easy as she wins it here tonight. As Rachel Rodriguez getting on the offensive against Asuka, throwing a knee into the face. And here comes Rodriguez with a leg drop. Coming up the ropes with a second leg drop. 2 leg drops onto the challenger. Now Rachel Rodriguez going to tear the knee of Asuka, looking to damage the leg here, making sure she can't stand. Remember, if you can't stand, you can't fight. Rachel Rodriguez now on the top turnbuckle, looking for a high-risk maneuver, waiting for Asuka to get to her feet. And a flying tackle by Rachel Rodriguez. Asuka now outside the ring, and Rachel Rodriguez in pursuit. For the purpose of this prestigious event, there will be no countouts in any of the matches here tonight. Rachel Rodriguez throwing Asuka against the steel stairs as the two now fight by the barricade. And there's Rachel Rodriguez throwing Asuka back into the ring. He goes for a dropkick, but Asuka counters. Here comes Asuka going for the Irish whip on the women's champion. Rodriguez off the ropes. Asuka going under. She goes out over. And there's a counter by Rachel Rodriguez as she takes Asuka down with a clothesline, followed by a flying moonsault onto the challenger. And here comes the pin. 1. And there's Dakota Kai in the corner, stealthily taking off the turnbuckle, hoping to give Asuka an advantage. Luckily, the referee sees it right away and is immediately going for it. However, that leaves the referee distracted as Asuka now takes the advantage over Rachel Rodriguez. But no, Rodriguez counters. And so far, the women's champion being everything if impressive in this title defense. And there she goes with a backbreaker on the Asuka, slamming her head over and over into the ring. And a kick to the back by the women's champion. Asuka getting back up, countering with a drop kick. And there's Rodriguez with a kick to the midsection, countering Asuka. She goes for the Irish whip. Asuka off the ropes. And a spine buster by the women's champion, Rachel Rodriguez. And there's Dakota Kai in the corner, now distracting Rachel Rodriguez, causing Rodriguez precious time that she could be using to be capitalizing on her challenger. And there's Asuka, who attempted to use a distraction to attack from behind, but Rodriguez ready for her. Rodriguez with that headlock. Asuka struggling to fight out of it. There's Asuka going for a kick. Rodriguez with a counter. She goes for an overhand chop. And there's Asuka with another counter with a martial art kick. And there's Asuka taking her down. 1, 2, but Rachel Rodriguez kicks out. Here comes Asuka attempting a belly to belly. Rodriguez throwing those strikes, fighting her way out. And Asuka countering the counter of Rachel Rodriguez. The challenger now on the offensive here as the champion is forced to step out of the ring to get a little breather. And here's Asuka with those strikes. Rodriguez trying to run back in. Now that she had a moment to recalibrate, however, Asuka was ready for her. Rodriguez out of nowhere springing off the second rope with a clothesline onto Asuka. There she is, now sizing the challenger up. Rodriguez with her finisher move. Now going for the pin. Will this be enough? 1, 2, but Asuka kicks out. As Rodriguez with a suplex onto Asuka. And once again, Dakota Kai distracting Rachel Rodriguez there. As the two get into an argument, again, causing Rachel Rodriguez precious time she can be using to capitalize on Asuka. And there's Asuka, the referee distracted, trying to put the turnbuckle back on, doesn't see Asuka hit Rachel Rodriguez with the poison mist. Rodriguez kicks out despite being blinded by the poison mist. The distraction had worked. The referee being distracted by the exposed turnbuckle had worked, allowing Asuka to use the poison mist on the Rachel Rodriguez. Thankfully, Rachel Rodriguez still able to kick out. However, this will affect the match as the champion will be fighting blind in this title defense. Asuka completely taking advantage in this match as she starts pounding away, striking away at the champion outside the ring. And here comes Asuka on the top rope. High flying maneuver, atomic elbow drop off the top rope here. Here she is, throwing the champion back in the ring. Rachel Rodriguez is down in a bad way. Asuka going for the pin. Could we have a new champion? 1, 2. Rachel Rodriguez kicks out, and you can see the visible frustration on Asuka. She's wondering what she's going to have to do to take the belt off her opponent here. It's Asuka attempting a belly-to-belly. There's Rodriguez with an elbow strike. Fighting blind. Rodriguez completely using her instincts to fight back against Asuka here. Asuka going for the Irish whip and a spinning heel kick to knock the champion down. And here comes Asuka getting to the top rope. Front splash. With a title. 1, 2, but Rodriguez kicks out. And there's Rodriguez with a kick to Asuka. She has the challenger against the ropes. And what's Rodriguez doing here? She's using the ropes as leverage as she completely stretches the body of Asuka, using the rings of the rope as a torture rack. And once again, Dakota Kai causing the distraction, getting in Rachel Rodriguez's face. Rachel Rodriguez sees Asuka coming this time. She throws the elbow. Here comes an Irish whip. And a neck breaker by the women's champion, Rachel Rodriguez. This sold-out arena here in Washington, D.C., here at the nation's capital, is going absolutely ballistic here in this Thanksgiving special Friday Night All-Star. Rachel Rodriguez putting the challenger Asuka into a headlock. The referee checking for a tap out. Asuka has nowhere to go, but manages to slip her arm out to get out of the hold. Rachel Rodriguez going for another neck breaker onto Asuka. And Rachel Rodriguez again going for that submission hold onto Asuka. Asuka in the middle of the ring, and she taps out. Rachel Rodriguez retains the women's title. Amazing win by Rachel Rodriguez as she gets the submission onto Asuka with a tap out. Asuka loses her opportunity. An amazing first title defense by our women's champion Rachel Rodriguez, despite the distractions by Dakota Kai, despite being a victim of the poison mist when the referee had his back turned, despite having to fight the final stretch of the match completely blind. Rachel Rodriguez manages to retain the title with a tap out. We got another amazing title match coming up as Channing Stacks Lorenzo and Tony D'Angelo of the family are about to challenge Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys, for the tag team titles next on Friday Night All-Star. We have a comment from Dancing Red Sox saying, "That was awesome." And here comes the family, Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo, the challengers in this tag team title match. After winning a first contender match against Chase University, they have earned the right to take on the Dudley Boys. The tag team titles on the line. And if there's anything the family knows, it's business. And that's what these two are going to stand on as they challenge what is, without a doubt, one of the greatest, if not the greatest tag team in pro wrestling history. It was only a couple weeks ago where the Dudley Boys had successfully defended the tag team titles in a grueling 30-minute Iron Man table match against the Hardy Boys. However, the Dudley Boys won't be completely in their element with the tables, as they will be going toe-to-toe in a straight-up tag team match against the family. And here they come, the tag team champions, Bubba Ray and Devon. The two from Dudleyville, Team 3D. The Dudley Boys making their way to the ring, ready to stand on business just as the family. Coming out with the tag team gold. They defeated the Outlaws. They have defeated the Hardy Boys, and they are looking to defend these tag team titles here tonight against the family. You can hear the electricity in the air here in Washington, D.C. on Friday Night All-Star as the Dudley Boys get in the ring, showing off their tag team gold.
The following is a tag team match set for one fall and is for the Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers at a combined weight of 472 pounds. Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo, the family. And their opponents at a combined weight of 603 pounds, the Tag Team Champions, Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys.
And it's very obvious in this sold-out arena who the favorite team is. The crowd cheering for the Dudley Boys. These two brothers from Dudleyville about to defend the tag team titles against the family. And it looks like we're going to start off with Tony D'Angelo and Bubba Ray Dudley in this tag team match. And Bubba Ray with a huge right cross on the Tony D'Angelo, throwing him to the corner. And Tony D'Angelo now throwing an elbow, rolling Bubba Ray into a pin, but Bubba Ray immediately getting a rope break. D'Angelo throwing Bubba Ray into the corner as he tags in. Channing Stacks Lorenzo, the family, going for a double team move as D'Angelo throws Lorenzo right off the top rope, launching it right to Bubba Ray. And Bubba Ray being knocked down with a clothesline by Lorenzo. And Bubba Ray now comes out of nowhere with a big boot, taking down Stacks Lorenzo. You see Bubba Ray applying pressure on the shoulder of Channing Stacks Lorenzo, but Lorenzo sweeping the leg of Bubba Ray Dudley. He now goes for an Irish whip. Bubba Ray now once again in the family's corner as Lorenzo tags in Tony D'Angelo. The family once again going for a double team move as Channing Stacks Lorenzo holds him in place, allowing D'Angelo to go for a double axe handle onto the arm of Bubba Ray. Thus far, the family dominating in his tag team title match as he's choking out Bubba Ray on that top rope. And look at D'Angelo, using those dirty tactics on the Bubba Ray, driving that knee onto his back, choking him out on that second rope. And now Bubba Ray catching the kick of Tony D'Angelo. That's not stopping him as he once again throws Bubba Ray in the corner. Bubba Ray sees it coming this time and throws the elbow right into D'Angelo's face. And there's Bubba Ray using that brute power onto Tony D'Angelo, taking down the challenger. Bubba Ray now tagging in his brother Devon Dudley, only to be speared by Tony D'Angelo. D'Angelo now tagging in Stax Lorenzo. And there's Lorenzo going for overhand chop and a backbreaker on the Devon. So far, the family has been dominating in this tag team match. It's quite possible they might be walking away as tag team champions here tonight. And now we have Bowling God 74 going tables, tables, tables. That's business. Ladders and chairs included. You never know, so the family realize who they are dealing with. And then he follows up with testify. Testify indeed, Bowling God. The other boys always stand on business, especially when it comes to tables. Unfortunately, they'll be at a disadvantage as the tables are illegal in this match. And Tony D'Angelo with a suplex onto Devon Dudley, and now follows up with another fisherman suplex onto Devon. Here comes D'Angelo with an Irish whip onto Devon. He tags in Shannon Stax Lorenzo. Lorenzo now on the top rope. And the family with a double team move onto Devon Dudley. Lorenzo dropping an elbow on the weekend Devon Dudley for the tag titles. 1, 2, but Devon kicks out. Devon shrugging away, trying to get on the ring apron, trying to get a moment away from the challenger. And there's Lorenzo with a huge right cross onto Devon Dudley and a stunner, knocking the one half of the tag team champions out of the ring as he tags in Tony D'Angelo. You can see Devon having trouble getting out of the ring. And now the two fighting ringside here. And Devon with a huge knee onto D'Angelo. And a suplex right outside the ring. Devon throwing D'Angelo into the steel stairs. Devon now rolling D'Angelo back into the ring. And here's Tony D'Angelo with a huge right cross. Now coming in with a tilt-a-whirl sidewalk slam onto Devon Dudley. They grapple up. An Irish whip. And Shannon Stax Lorenzo interrupts the Irish whip. However, that does not slow Devon down as he knocks the challenger down. Devon now tagging in his brother, Bubba Ray. And here comes Bubba Ray coming in, only to be countered by D'Angelo. D'Angelo tagging in Shannon Stax Lorenzo and the family, going for a double Irish whip, followed by a double hip toss onto Bubba Ray Dudley. And here's Bubba Ray out of nowhere with a sidewalk slam onto Shannon Stax Lorenzo. However, he's able to kick out for even a 1 count. You can still see how fresh the family is in this tag team title match. D'Angelo going for an Irish whip. Bubba Ray now coming out with some strikes, taunting D'Angelo, showing that he's standing on tag team business here. 1, but Shannon Stax Lorenzo kicks out. Now Bubba Ray throwing D'Angelo into the corner. A huge right hand by Bubba Ray as he tags in Devon. And here goes the Dudleys with a 3D The Dudley Boys with a 3D on Channing Stacks Lorenzo for the tag team titles. 1, 2, no! Stacks Lorenzo kicks out. Tony D'Angelo went to go break up the count, but was intercepted by Bubba Ray Dudley, and now both Dudley Boys taking out the family in this tag team match. Devon now going for another pin. 1, 2, no! Stacks Lorenzo again kicks out. Amazing. He was able to kick out of a 3D, let alone a followed up sidewalk slam by Devon Dudley. Here goes Devon coming off the ropes. Stacks Lorenzo rolling to safety, and here he comes, sweeping the leg of Devon Dudley. And Devon with a counter with a huge hard left into the ribs of Channing Stacks Lorenzo. You see Tony D'Angelo holding his hand, trying to get that tag, trying to get in the ring. Stacks Lorenzo doing everything he can to fight his way out of it. He throws Devon into the corner and tags in D'Angelo. And here comes the family with a double team maneuver as D'Angelo goes for a double axe handle, being held in place by Lorenzo. Devon throwing Tony D'Angelo into the corner as he tags in Bubba Ray. And there's a scoop body slam by Devon Dudley. And the Dudley Boys both coming off the ropes with a double headbutt onto Tony D'Angelo. There's Bubba Ray attempting a neck breaker, but gets speared by Tony D'Angelo after he dodges. And what's D'Angelo doing here? A suplex, followed up by a pin. 1, 2, but Devon breaks up the count. That was almost a close one. The family were almost crowned the tag team champions. However, Devon coming in the ring might have just bought Bubba Ray enough time to capitalize as he comes in with a sidewalk slam onto Tony D'Angelo. You see Bubba Ray stalking D'Angelo, looking to systematically pick him apart as he slams the elbow into the knee. And now he throws D'Angelo into the corner. Bubba Ray using that rope as leverage, wrenching the arm of the challenger here. And Bubba Ray now tagging in Devon Dudley. And here's Devon getting ready to run across the ring. The crowd here at Washington, D.C. going absolutely nuts as Devon with a clothesline from across the ring into the corner. 1, but Tony D'Angelo kicks out. And here comes Devon, goes for the Irish whip. Tony D'Angelo goes to counter, and there's a spine buster by Tony D'Angelo, who goes for the pin, but Bubba Ray breaks it up. And there's Devon going for the elbow on Tony D'Angelo. The Irish whips Tony D'Angelo into the corner. D'Angelo with the elbow. And there goes a scoop slam into the corner by Tony D'Angelo. And Devon Dudley is down. Goes the Irish whip. Devon counters. And what's Devon doing? Looks like he's got something planned as he gets across the ring. Devon fired up as he runs across the ring with a body splash onto Tony D'Angelo. He's going for the pin. 1, 2, and Tony D'Angelo kicks out. This tag team title match continues. And here's Devon tagging Bubba Ray Dudley. Here comes the double Irish whip and a double hip toss by the Dudley Boys. Bubba Ray off the ropes with a headbutt onto Tony D'Angelo. And Bubba Ray making his way to the top rope. High flying move by Bubba Ray as he goes for a huge frog splash. All that body weight flying right on top of Tony D'Angelo, breaking, splattering him, turning him to paste into the ring canvas. You see Tony D'Angelo is desperate as he throws the elbow into Bubba Ray, an Irish whip into the corner. And comes Tony D'Angelo coming across the ring. Bubba Ray with an elbow. Tony D'Angelo taking too much time to taunt Bubba Ray there. And Bubba Ray with a scoop slam into the corner as he goes for the pin. 1, 2, no, D'Angelo again kicks out. Bubba Ray coming off the ropes and stacks Lorenzo with a knee onto Bubba Ray. Stacks Lorenzo, the younger of the cousins here in the family, coming in with an uppercut onto Bubba Ray Dudley. He makes his way to the top rope. High flying move by Channing. Stacks Lorenzo. Atomic elbow drop. And here he comes. Bub Devon breaks up the count before the referee can even start. Here comes Channing. Stacks Lorenzo going for the Irish whip. Bubba Ray counters. And there's a right hand by Bubba Ray Dudley. From across the ring. And a kick to the face by Lorenzo. There's Bubba Ray. Possum pin. 1, 2. But Lorenzo kicks out. Bubba Ray going for a powerbomb. A very nasty powerbomb by Bubba Ray Dudley. And both. And now Stacks Lorenzo gets the tag on the D'Angelo, who goes right into the Dudley cutter. And amazing, despite Bubba Ray using his finishing move, Tony D'Angelo still able to kick out. Another comment by Bowling God 74. Where is the doctor when you need one? This match is awesome, but someone is heading to the ER after this is over. That is 100% there, Bowling God. There's a lot of damage being done in this match, especially by the Dudley boys. However, the family now has the advantage over the tag team champions as the family goes for a double team move. And double the slam, double the damage by the family. Lorenzo, almost a 3 count, but Bubba Ray kicks out. You see Bubba Ray is in a bad way. Lorenzo off the ropes with a huge right hand across Bubba Ray's face. Lorenzo making the tag to Tony D'Angelo. Bubba Ray flying across the ring to get the tag to brother Devon. And Devon going for scoops, going for snake eyes into the corner. And here comes Devon coming off the top rope. He's waiting for Tony D'Angelo to get to his feet. And here he comes. Devon with a flying tackle. Testify, my brother. Devon is on fire right now. Here he comes with an Irish whip. And there's a shot to the ribs by Tony D'Angelo. He comes across the ring. Flying clothesline onto Devon Dudley. D'Angelo tags in Lorenzo now. Lorenzo with a huge right cross. And a huge shot to the back of Devon. Devon retaliating there. Gives him the receipt. Devon now having Lorenzo in the corner. He tags in Bubba Ray. And he comes off the ropes. And here it comes. Another 3D by the Dudley boys. Here comes the pin. But D'Angelo brings up the count. That's a good thing too, because after that 3D, that might have been it for the family. Bubba Ray not letting up though. D'Angelo breaking up the count has only angered Bubba Ray Dudley. He now tags in Devon. And a reverse 3D by the Dudley boys. Devon going for the pin. Will this be it? 1, 2, 3. And the Dudley boys retain the tag team titles.
Here are your winners and still tag team champions, Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys.
That was a well-fought match by both teams. The family definitely brought it to the Dudley Boys and gave them much more of a challenge than I think they expected. But in the end of the day, Team 3D is still wearing the gold. The Dudley Boys still the tag team champions. However, that might not be as great as our upcoming United States Championship match, as the criminal Aiden Andrews is about to go one-on-one and challenge the United States champion Rob Van Dam. The U.S. title on the line here at our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., right here at Grand Tour Wrestling Friday Night All-Star.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the United States Championship.
And here comes the challenger, the criminal, Aiden Andrews. Aiden Andrews is a former GTW European champion. He had recently lost the title to the Russian gladiator, Andre Armstrong. But tonight, Aiden Andrews looking for a moment of redemption as he challenges Rob Van Dam. Here at the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., the criminal is looking to win the United States title and redeem himself from losing the European. At one point, the champion of nations across the sea, looking to be the champion here at our home country. And you can see he's fired up. The crowd fired up. Both these wrestlers, fan favorites here in Grand Tour Wrestling. Aiden Andrews ready to win the United States gold. He is ready to fight here in our nation's capital of Washington, D.C., here in a sold-out arena. And here he is, the U.S. champion, Rob Van Dam. This man has held on to the U.S. title for nearly a year now, has won every single title defense coming his way. This is the whole damn show right here. ECW legend, WWE veteran, TNA All-Star. This man is the United States champion here to defend at Washington, D.C. And this man is... That's right, folks. Rob Van Dam. And for those of you at home, let's hear it one more time. Will Aiden Andrews have what it takes to take on this pro wrestling legend?
Introducing the challenger from Toledo, Ohio, weighing in at 250 pounds, Aiden Andrews. And his opponent from Battle Creek, Michigan, weighing in at 235 pounds, the United States champion, Rob Van Dam.
And there he is, the U.S. champion. And I can't think of a better place to defend the title here at our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Here on this Thanksgiving special event, Friday Night All-Star. And you see Aiden Andrews looking at the title, seeing what the prize is. This is what's on the line. The winner will be the winner of this will be the champion of this fine nation here tonight. Former European champion versus current U.S. champion right here. And there's the bell as Aiden Andrews goes for a knee buster onto Rob Van Dam. But Rob Van Dam with a receipt, throwing a drop kick, followed by a moonsault onto the criminal Aiden Andrews, and immediately goes for the pin. One, but Aiden Andrews gets the shoulder up. Here's Aiden Andrews throwing a kick onto Rob Van Dam. The two men now grappling up. And there's Rob Van Dam getting a lock from behind. You see the criminal Aiden Andrews, the challenger, struggling to fight out of it. And there's Rob Van Dam with another pin. One, but again, Aiden Andrews now countering onto Rob Van Dam. The U.S. champion kicking out. And here comes the challenger, attempting to bring Rob Van Dam to a corner. Rob Van Dam throws the elbows to fight back. And we are grappling up once more. There's Aiden Andrews putting Rob Van Dam into a headlock. Rob Van Dam struggling to fight out as Aiden Andrews tightens the grip. And there he is, furthering the hold onto the U.S. champion Rob Van Dam. Will RVD be able to break out of this hold? And he does as he twists Aiden Andrews into an armbar. And now the tables have turned as the U.S. champion gains the advantage over Aiden Andrews, reversing the headlock into an armbar. You see the criminal struggling to find his way out of it, trying to pry his hand into the hold. And there's Rob Van Dam with a takedown onto the challenger. And here's RVD. Measuring him up. He went to go for a cutter. However, Aiden Andrews pushes him off, and now the two grappling up once more in the middle of the squared circle. Rob Van Dam reapplying the armbar onto Aiden Andrews. You can hear electricity in this crowd as Aiden Andrews now reverses, putting Rob Van Dam, the U.S. champion, into an armbar. Rob Van Dam not looking too worried though, as he immediately manages to get a reversal in this chain wrestling match against the criminal Aiden Andrews, the challenger, now in trouble as Rob Van Dam takes control in this U.S. title match. The sold-out crowd in Washington, D.C. going absolutely crazy as Rob Van Dam now applies a headlock onto Aiden Andrews. Aiden Andrews gets a reversal, grappling Rob Van Dam from behind. You see Rob Van Dam trying to fight his way out of it, struggling, wailing about. Aiden Andrews doing everything he can to keep that hold onto Rob Van Dam, and he rolls him to a pin for the U.S. title, but Rob Van Dam kicks out. And here's Aiden Andrews measuring up his opponent. Here it comes. The Irish whip. Rob Van Dam off the ropes, and Aiden Andrews with a face buster onto Rob Van Dam, elevating him 10 feet in the air for maximum velocity, and now brings him down with a spine buster. Here he is, measuring up the U.S. champion, looking for a finisher move. And we got Mortalist in the chat right now. Welcome, Mortalist. We got a lot of 100% emojis for Mortalist, and I can't agree. This match is intense. Aiden Andrews now kicking out. Rob Van Dam still has to apply more damage onto his challenger if he wants to retain the U.S. title here tonight. Because Aiden Andrews going for a powerbomb onto the U.S. champion, now measuring Rob Van Dam up. And here's Rob Van Dam with the elbow strikes on Aiden Andrews. And here he comes. Making a spring out the ring. Get him over to compose himself. With Aiden Andrews taking advantage of the short break with a scoop body slam onto the U.S. champion. And there's the criminal now with a throwing the knee onto Rob Van Dam. And a clothesline by Aiden Andrews. Aiden Andrews comes off the ropes. And a neckbreaker by Aiden Andrews, taking down the U.S. champion Rob Van Dam. There he is, dropping the knee onto RVD. You can see the criminal becoming aggressive. And Rob Van Dam with a leg scissors hurricanrana. Amazing counter by the U.S. champion. And he comes down with a leg drop over the top rope. And it looks like he might have hurt himself just as much as he hurt the criminal. And it seems Rob Van Dam's in a bad place. It seems that RVD is now busted open. And there's Aiden Andrews with a backbreaker. Yep, I can confirm it. I can see it right here from the announcer's desk. RVD is busted wide open. He's bleeding all over the place right now, and that's not good. Losing all that blood in a match like this, that easily gives Aiden Andrews the advantage. You're going to start seeing Rob Van Dam slow down as he starts as he gains all that blood loss. Aiden Andrews with an Irish whip. He goes over Rob Van Dam. Here comes the spine buster by the criminal Aiden Andrews as he goes for the pin for the title. 1, 2, but Rob Van Dam gets the shoulder up. And the criminal smells the blood in the water, so to speak. You know Rob Van Dam's in a bad way. He wants to go for the finisher. Rob Van Dam able to counter though with a neck breaker. And Rob Van Dam with a rolling thunder, but Aiden Andrews manages to counter Rob Van Dam's signature move. And here's Rob Van Dam with those punches to the gut. And here comes a pile driver by Rob Van Dam. Will that be enough to defend the title? No, Aiden Andrews gets the shoulder up. Rob Van Dam coming off the ropes, springing off the top turnbuckle with the moonsault. 1, 2, again. Aiden Andrews kicks out. And here comes Rob Van Dam, getting to the top rope. He's going for a second moonsault. It lands. Will this be enough? Will he be able to put away? No, Rob Van Dam going to the top rope. Here it comes. 5-star frog splash by the U.S. champion, Rob Van Dam. 1, 2, 3. And Rob Van Dam with the 5-star frog splash retains the U.S. title.
Here is your winner, and still United States Champion, Rob Van Dam.
Amazing win by the U.S. champion here in Washington, D.C., and his name is Rob Van Dam. Coming up, we have the Intergender Tag Team Championship on the line. The Russian Gladiator with his substitute tag team partner, Jamie Hayter, will now be defending the Intergender Tag Team titles against Rebecca Troy and the newest member of the Old Gods, Damian Elliott, and that's coming up next after this quick break. And we're here, the Intergender Tag Teams on the line. We have some comments I missed from Bowling God saying the audience is the security, the Secret Service is protecting, because the president is here to see Rob Van Dam gets to see Rob Van Dam kick some ass. Actually, I think the president might be in the skybox right now. But now we have this intergender tag team match coming up, as we have Rebecca Troy being accompanied to the ring by Old God members Archangel and Amber Charlotte. They'll be taking on Jamie Hayter and Andre Armstrong for the intergender tag team titles. And Rebecca Troy making her grand entrance here at Washington, D.C. You can hear the boos throughout the whole arena right now. There's Rebecca Troy pointing to the heavens. You can see she is absolutely ready. Completely confident. Looking as mystical as ever, ready for this tag team match. The Olympian Rebecca Troy, former women's champion, looking to win tag team gold here tonight. And here comes her tag team partner, the newest member of the Old Gods, Damian Maximus. Damian Maximus, formerly known as Damian Elliott, had won his first victory last week on Brawl as him and Rebecca Troy defeated their opponents in an intergender tag team match to become #1 contenders for tonight, defeating Toni Storm and Joe Henry for this opportunity here tonight. However, I could say that they won anything but gracefully as they attacked both Joe Henry and Toni Storm with steel chairs. And here comes Damian Elliott making his way to the ring. Tonight we were supposed to have Toni Storm against Amber Charlotte, but circumstances have prevented Toni Storm from making it to the arena here tonight. The two will be facing off for the main event for a Brawl next Wednesday night now. What was supposed to be a big matchup here in All-Star will now serve as Brawl's main event next Wednesday, as Amber Charlotte will be going one-on-one with the timeless Toni Storm. But tonight she will be in the corner of the Old Gods, Damian Maximus and Rebecca Troy in this intergender tag team match. And you can see Maximus sporting the new ring gear gifted to him by Archangel as an olive branch, welcoming him to the family, welcoming him to the faction of the Old Gods. Will Damian be able to receive his second victory here tonight to win the intergender tag team titles? And here comes their opponents, one half of the intergender tag team champions, Jamie Hayter, a former star of AEW, now wrestling for Grand Tour Wrestling. Though the title was not won, she served as a substitute for Brenda Bison after suffering multiple fractured ribs, and is now substituting as one half of the intergender tag team titles, teaming with the Russian gladiator Andre Armstrong. Something that Brenda Bison was not too happy about being replaced. However, the options was either find a substitute tag team partner or be stripped of the title. Now here comes the true one half of the intergender tag team champion and the European champion, double belt holder, the Russian gladiator, Andre Armstrong from Moscow, Russia. He makes his way to the ring with ferocity and focus. This man is the pinnacle of athleticism. Trained as an Olympic wrestler, he now in GTW as a dominant figure in the male roster, winning the European title from the criminal Aiden Andrews. and winning the intergender tag team titles from Adriana Rizzo and Shannon Stacks and Tony D'Angelo of the family. He now holds 2 titles, defending one of them against the old gods here tonight. And I bet you that Andre Armstrong is welcoming this match, knowing what their leader Hercules did to his friend Brenda Bison, what they did to his comrade. I'm sure he's can't wait to get Rebecca Troy and Damian Maximus in the ring here tonight.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall and is for the Mixed Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers, the Olympian Rebecca Troy and Damian Maximus. And their opponents, Jane and the Russian gladiator, Andre Armstrong.
And there's the intergender tag team champions, Andre Armstrong and Jamie Hayter, ready to defend their tag team titles against the old gods here tonight. We have Archangel and Amber Charlotte in the corner of the old gods here tonight, and that will give them a huge advantage in this matchup. And there's Rebecca Troy starting out strong as she takes out Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter with a kick to the face. And there's Hayter stomping down Rebecca Troy with the knee. There she is, stretching the arm out with an arm bar. Huge right hand by Jamie Hayter as she goes for a neckbreaker onto the Olympian Rebecca Troy. Now tagging in Andre Armstrong. And Andre Armstrong, though, wishes Brenda Bison to take accountability for challenging the old gods to begin with. I'm sure still has hidden feelings about this faction after what Hercules has done to his comrade. Rebecca Troy with a tackle onto Andre Armstrong, aiming for the legs. Amazing strategy by Rebecca Troy. Now tagging in her partner, Damian Maximus, formerly known as Damian Elliott, but now joining the old gods, has changed his entire identity. An amazing maneuver as Damian Maximus goes for a reverse Boston Crab onto Andre Armstrong. You can see that training that he's been receiving from Hercules and Archangel has paid off. That ferocity by Damian Maximus. He is definitely not the same man he was when he first came into GTW. And there he is with a scoop body slam, gaining the advantage after Rebecca Troy hits Andre Armstrong from behind. Damian wrenching the neck of Andre Armstrong. And he comes out with a devastating elbow drop. You see he's much more aggressive this time around. He's no longer playing. He's willing to take any advantage. You can definitely see some Archangel and Hercules' influence. You can see the influence from the old gods, from Damian Maximus. But there he is with that rookie mistake, taking too long to get to the top rope, allowing Andre Armstrong enough time to get out of the way. And now the Russian Gladiator, one half of the intergender tag team champions, the European champion, going on the offensive. But no, there's Maximus getting on top of Andre Armstrong. Jamie Hayter looking for that pin tag, desperately trying to get in the ring to save her partner. And a European uppercut by Damian Maximus taking down Jamie Hayter. And there's Amber Charlotte sliding a steel chair into the ring. A referee immediately catching it. Temporarily distracted. Damian now has Jamie Hayter against the ropes. He throws her onto the ring apron. And a DDT by Damian Maximus. Here comes the pin. 1, 2, but Jamie Hayter kicks out. Remember, the intergender tag team titles are on the line here tonight. And there's Damian with those huge right hands taking down Jamie Hayter. And here he is. was about to look for the finisher on her, but she tags in Andre Armstrong, who comes in with a hot pin onto Damien Maximus. Maximus rolling over, reversing, and the reversal by the Russian Gladiator. And an RKO by Damien Maximus. Will this be enough? 1, 2. Oh, no. Andre Armstrong able to kick out after Damien Maximus's finisher. There's a powerbomb by Damien Maximus. He now tags in Rebecca Troy. Rebecca Troy taking her time, going for that stomp onto the face of Andre Armstrong. Rebecca Troy looking to torture the European and intergender tag team champion here in this match, but this Olympic trained wrestler manages to get his way out of it. Rebecca Troy still, if anything, perseverant. And here she is, taunting his opponent. She runs across the ring with a clothesline. She took too much time. Her arrogance was her downfall as Andre Armstrong now gains the upper hand on the Olympian Rebecca Troy. And it is Rebecca Troy with an elbow and a spear by Rebecca Troy onto Andre Armstrong. And here comes the pin. But Jamie Hayter able to break up the pin. A huge save by Jamie Hayter here tonight. And there's a DDT by Rebecca Troy. And there's Amber Charlotte taking off the top turnbuckle. We have an exposed turnbuckle in the corner now. Rebecca Troy going for a strike on Andre Armstrong, who ducks. He now tags in Jamie Hayter. The referee getting the turnbuckle padding back on. Thank goodness. You see Damien Maximus looking for the pin. Jamie Hayter able to intercept. But now Rebecca Troy on the second row waiting for her opponent to get to her feet. And a flying punch by Rebecca Troy, the Olympian, going for the pin. And Troy using the ropes as leverage. However, Jamie Hayter still able to kick out. Troy now with the advantage over Jamie Hayter now. Dragging her to the middle of the ring. And here she goes to the corner, looking to size her up. Jamie Hayter struggling to get to her feet as Rebecca Troy from across the ring delivers a devastating kick to the head of Jamie Hayter. The Olympian Rebecca Troy can taste the intergender tag team titles here. She's sizing her up, looking for the finisher move. Rebecca Troy looking to put this away. Huge shot to the chest. And now she goes for the pin. But Andre Armstrong able to break up the count. Rebecca Troy now tagging in her partner, Damien Maximus. Maximus going one-on-one with Hayter. Hayter going for the kick to the midsection. And here comes a suplex by Jamie Hayter onto Damien Maximus. And there's Amber Charlotte distracting Jamie Hayter there. Jamie Hayter taking her eye off the ball, allowing Amber Charlotte from outside the ring to distract her. And now Damien Maximus tags in Rebecca Troy, and the Old Gods go for a double team maneuver as Rebecca Troy gets a shot to the ribs. Jamie Hayter fighting back. And there's Jamie Hayter with a clothesline onto Rebecca Troy. She goes for the pin. She goes for 1, 2, but Damien Maximus kicks out. And there's Rebecca Troy going for a kick to the midsection. She gets Jamie Hayter going for a shoulder buster with the knee. And there's Jamie Hayter with a punch on Rebecca Troy, gaining a receipt, fighting her way out. She throws Rebecca Troy off the ropes and a spine buster by Jamie Hayter. Hayter coming off the ropes. And a double axe handle from behind on Rebecca Troy. And there's Troy trying to fight out of that grapple, throwing those elbows to the ribs of Jamie Hayter. And a knee buster by Rebecca Troy. She tags in Damian Maximus. And here they go, grappling up. Damian Maximus has Jamie Hayter in the air. What's he have planned? A huge neck breaker by Maximus. Jamie Hayter having no choice but to retreat outside the ring. And courtesy of Amber Charlotte, handing her over to Damian Maximus like a gift, allowing Maximus to tear her apart as he throws her into the stairs. Here comes Maximus. Now torturing Jamie Hayter outside the ring. Archangel Amber Charlotte standing guard, keeping Jamie Hayter from getting away. And there's Damian Maximus throwing her head into the steel post. You can see Damian Maximus celebrating. We got Jamie Hayter completely laid out of the ring here. Maximus in pursuit. And now the two fighting outside the ring. Jamie Hayter throws Damian Maximus into the barricade. There's Jamie Hayter now getting back into the ring. There's Hayter with a kick to the midsection. And a spike suplex by Jamie Hayter onto Damian Maximus. There's Maximus, the scoop slam into the corner. He goes for the cover. 1, 2, but Jamie Hayter kicks out. You can see she is very much weakened in this tag team match. She desperately needs to tag in her partner Andre Armstrong, or else they're in danger of losing the intergender tag team titles. And Rebecca Troy with a hard shot to the ribs of Jamie Hayter. Rebecca Troy with the snake eyes, ringing her bell into the top turnbuckle. And here comes Troy, coming across the ring, the flying elbow into Hayter. And here comes Rebecca Troy, coming off the top turnbuckle. Jamie Hayter barely getting to her feet, and a moonsault by Rebecca Troy. And she throws Jamie Hayter back into the ring. Jamie Hayter kicking her off. And here they go, grappling up, and a clothesline by Jamie Hayter, nearly taking Rebecca Troy's head off, and it gives her the opportunity she needs to finally tag in Andre Armstrong. Andre going for the pin, coming in completely fresh here. 1, 2, but Rebecca Troy manages to kick out. Rebecca Troy with a spear, nearly breaking the Russian Gladiator in half. Troy now going for the pin, but Jamie Hayter breaks up the count. Intergender titles still on the line. This tag team match continues. Rebecca Troy dragging Andre Armstrong to the middle of the ring. And they grapple up. Here comes the Irish whip. Andre off the ropes. Rebecca Troy going under, going over. And there's a counter by Andre Armstrong who goes for a kick to the midsection. And now, the European champion, intergender champion, Andre Armstrong, now has Rebecca Troy in a sleeper hold, right in the middle of the ring. And just like that, Andre Armstrong has turned the tide in this mixed gender tag team match. And a powerbomb by the Russian Gladiator as he goes for the pin. 1, 2, but Rebecca Troy kicks out. There he is, throwing her into the corner. You can kind of hear Andre Armstrong mutter on his breath. This is for Brenda Bison. Rebecca Troy going for the pin. for the titles. But Andre Armstrong kicks out. And there's a hard slap across the face, followed by a kick. And now Andre Armstrong up against the ropes. There's Rebecca Troy using that top rope as levers to wrench the arm. Andre Armstrong, followed by an open hand chop to the chest. And a face buster by the Olympian Rebecca Troy. Will this be enough to keep him down? 1, 2, but again, Andre Armstrong kicks out. They grapple up once more. She goes for Irish whip. Andre Armstrong counters. And here he goes from across the ring. But he went for a clothesline, but Rebecca Troy counters. An amazing display by Rebecca Troy, using her wits to outsmart Andre Armstrong. Knowing that he's much stronger than her, she's using her whole body's leverage to take him down there. Here's Andre with an elbow, nearly knocking Rebecca Troy out. He goes for the Irish whip. Rebecca Troy counters. She has him in the corner. And there she is, attacking the knee, taking Andre Armstrong down. Rebecca Troy tagging in Damian Maximus. And now we have the two men in the ring as Maximus comes in for a flying clothesline. Damian attacking Andre from behind. Here comes the pin. 1, 2, 3, and we have new intergender tag team champions. The titles change hands here at All Star.
And the new mixed tag team champions, Damian Maximus.
And you have Rebecca Troy and Damian Maximus.
Rebecca Troy.
Celebrating in the ring. The Old Gods now have the intergender tag team titles. That is 3 titles in possession of the Old Gods. Not bad for Damian Maximus' second victory. He's become a natural partner for Rebecca Troy, and now the Old Gods, the team of the Olympian Rebecca Troy and Damian Maximus, are now the new intergender tag team champions. I can only hear Brenda Bison cursing at home right now, watching this on TV, seeing what was supposed to be her title being lost to these 2 Old Gods, with Jamie Hayter supposedly as her substitute. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We still have our main event to come. The Old Gods are not through yet, as their leader, Hercules, will be defending the Grand Tour Championship against the Demon, Dio Sebation, in a steel cage for our main event. I also have word that the Chosen One, Steven Dynamite, is on his way to the ring right now to address this sold-out crowd here at Washington, D.C. Don't go away. We have Steven Dynamite coming out next, followed by our main event here on GTW All-Star. And here comes the Chosen One, Steven Dynamite, coming out with the microphone, here to address the crowd here in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., your Chosen One is here. Damian Elliott, or is it Damian Maximus now? First of all, before I get into it, congratulations. You're now one half of the intergender tag team champions. Not bad for your second victory. And I see you handled your win this time with a lot more grace, as opposed to last week on Brawl, where you and Rebecca Troy completely assaulted Tony Storm and Joe Henry with steel chairs. Look, Damien, I'm gonna shoot straight with you. I tried to be your friend. I really did. When I met you, I saw a kid being bullied, tormented, forced into a hardship he did not deserve. I took you under my wing to teach you how to hold your own in this ring so you can face those bullies. Instead, instead of using what I taught you to face them, to defend yourself, you join them. At first, I wanted to believe this was a case of fear. You joined them to feel safe. Maybe it was Stockholm Syndrome. Hell, I was pretty much convinced that was the case. Now I see I was wrong. When you and Archangel jumped me, beat the living hell out of me in that parking lot last week, I knew. You did not join the old gods because you are a victim. No, Damien. No, it's exactly as you say. I was too blind to see the truth. You want power, and that is what they offer. Damien, you better strap yourself in. Because it isn't Archangel or Hercules that you will be seeking justice from anymore. No. No, it will be the chosen one gunning for you. Damian Elliott, Damian Maximus, whatever the heck you want to call yourself now. I want you to know this and let these words singe into your brain. Because, Damien, you have been chosen. And there's Stephen Dynamite making his declaration after being jumped by him and Archangel last week on Dystopia in the parking lot. Stephen Dynamite has had enough. He's done playing nice. He's made his words clear. Damien, you have been chosen. Speaking of the old gods, we're now coming up to our main event. The Grand Tour Championship is on the line in what might be the final confrontation after what was supposed to be the end of their war at Survivor Games has turned into this one-on-one match inside a steel cage. You got the Demon, Dio Sebation, son of the Grand Tour Wrestling Hall of Famer, Demon Douglas Sebastian, going one-on-one with not only the World Heavyweight Champion Hercules, but the Grand Tour Champion for that very same title. Dio versus the Mighty God Hercules. Grand Tour title on the line in a steel cage for our main event here at Friday Night All-Star.
The following contest is a steel cage match and is for the Grand Prix Championship.
And here comes the challenger, the son of the Demon King Sebastian, son of a Hall of Famer. Dio, former World Heavyweight Champion, had lost the title in a ladder match in a champion versus champion winner takes all against Hercules on Brawl a few weeks ago after the interference of Archangel. But there'll be no interference tonight. There'll be no one to back Hercules up as these two are locked inside a steel cage. Tonight, with his father present, watching from the skybox above, Dio will have the opportunity to do his father proud. The Witch, his sister, winning the Women's US title on Dystopia last week. And now Dio has a chance to win the Ultimate title here tonight. And here he is, double champion. Hercules with both the Grand Tour and World Heavyweight title. He is walking down the aisle towards the ring, undisputed. Some call him mighty, others call him a false god, but there's no doubt that when you hold 2 championship belts, 2 of the biggest championship belts in Grand Tour Wrestling, you are in fact undisputed. And that's what this match is here tonight. He won the World Heavyweight title from Dio in a ladder match thanks to the interference of Archangel. However, the steel cage will ensure that there'll be no interference. You can only win 3 ways. You either have to pin your opponent, make them tap out, or escape the steel cage. However, as Dio Sebation will not have the witch by his side, Hercules vice versa will not have the other 4 members of the Old Gods. And here we are with our main event. Grand Tour title on the line. Steel cage, our main event.
Introducing the challenger from New York, weighing in at 246 pounds, the Demon, Dio Sebation! And his opponent from Athens, Greece, weighing in at 341 pounds, the Grand Prix champion and the World Heavyweight champion, the mighty, unbreakable, indestructible Hercules!
And that's what's going to be on the line tonight. The most prestigious championship in all of Grand Tour Wrestling. This is a title that is not divided by any divisions. Anyone from any weight class, any gender can win this title. This represents the absolute best in Grand Tour Wrestling. And now, the bell is rung. These 2 in a steel cage. Who will be on top? It will be the Demon, Dio Sebation, or the mighty god Hercules, who will come out as the Grand Tour champion in this main event steel cage match. And here's Dio Sebation with a frog splash onto Hercules, gaining the upper hand, and then Hercules getting a neckbreaker onto Dio Sebation. And there's Hercules wrenching the neck of the opponent here in this cage match. And Hercules trying to use that strength. Dio Sebation, though, not easily overpowered. And there's Dio Sebation throwing Hercules' throat across the top rope, and there he is, just stomping on him. And Dio wasting no time as he goes to climb that steel cage. And Hercules stopping in his tracks before he can make the first hurdle. And there's Hercules slamming the knee of the challenger into the ring canvas. And that downward punch taking down the challenger. Dio Sebation kicking Hercules down. And there's Hercules stomping on the back. Dio Sebation stomping on the back of Hercules. You can see how badly Dio wants that belt. This is more about the title tonight. His father, the Demon King, Douglas Sebation, watching from the skybox, watching his son in this steel cage match as he goes to climb on top of the cage. He's about to make the first hurdle. If he can knock Hercules down, this could be a very short match. Dio could be Grand Tour champion. He's about to climb over. This is it. This is it. Dio's about to escape the cage. Is he about to do it? No. No, Hercules goes to stop him. Dio was so close. He was so close. And Hercules goes to slam Dio's head off the cage. Dio fighting back now. Those elbows, he knocks Hercules down. And this match continues. Dio was so close to escaping the cage and win the Grand Tour title. However, he was able to intercept him. Luckily, Dio able to fight back against the Grand Tour champion here. And the huge left and right cross by Hercules. He goes for body slam. Hercules counters. Dio Sebation counters. German suplex. Dio coming in with a clothesline, taking down the champion. There goes the pin. 1. But Hercules gets the shoulder up still very early in this main event match. Hercules countering Dio Sebation. Dio now getting a kick to the sternum. A clothesline knocking down. Dio once again going for the top of the cage. No, Dio decides to use the cage as leverage to jump off the top rope. However, countered by Hercules, who gets him with a spiral takedown. Hercules coming off the ropes, and a boot to the head by the Mighty God. The Grand Tour champion now going on the offensive on the challenger, Dio Sebation. There's a skewed body slam by Hercules. And now he's sizing him up. Hercules measuring him for the God Spear. And it lands. Hercules puts a God Spear onto Hercules, taking down the challenger as he goes for the pin. 1. But Hercules gets the shoulder up. Still very early in this match. Even the God Spear not keeping the demon Dio Sebation down. And as Hercules running across the ring with a clothesline, followed by an elbow to the challenger Dio. And there he is, stomping on the hand of the challenger there. Dio looks to be in a lot of trouble at this point as Hercules remains on the offensive. And here he comes. Hercules charging him up. Superman punch by Hercules. And he's ready to finish things off. Here comes the God Spear. But Dio sees it coming. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And Dio about to give him the receipt. Here it comes, the end of days. Here comes Dio with the pin. 1, 2, but Hercules kicks out. An amazing display by the challenger Dio Sebation. Hercules landing the Superman punch and was about to get a second God Spear. Dio manages to receipt with his finish at the end of days. And now Dio going for the choke slam. And he nails a choke slam on the Hercules. Here comes the pin for the title. But Hercules kicks out on 2. Grand Tour title on the line. Hercules struggling without the help of the All Gods. There's no help to save him in this steel cage match. Now Dio Sebation puts Hercules in a Boston Crab. Hercules in the middle of the ring. However, his massive strength able to counter the submission hold. And there's a tilt-a-whirl slam. That raw power of Hercules muscling Dio Sebation, with Dio using his ring prowess, his ferocity to fight back. Dio taking out Dio. And we got a very even matchup. Both neither men letting up in the steel cage match. And there's Hercules with an uppercut and an open hand chop. Hercules setting Dio Sebation up. Look at that power by the Mighty God as he suplexes him into a pin. Dio gets the shoulder up on 2. Hercules goes for that stomp. There's a shot to the ribs by Dio Sebation. He goes for the Irish whip against the ropes. Dio counters though. And the Irish whip by Hercules. And a spear by Hercules, taking down the challenger as he again goes for the pin. Now 1, 2, Dio gets the shoulder up once more. Hercules starting to wonder what it's going to take to get the 3 count onto the challenger, Dio Sebation. Dio Sebation fighting for the honor of his father as he goes to climb the cage. Hercules knocked out cold. This could be Dio's chance as he goes getting to the top of the cage here. If he can escape, he can win the Grand Tour title. He's nearly got it. Here comes Hercules coming in pursuit. But no, Dio gets it. Hercules is too late and Dio climbs the cage. He's done it, folks. Dio has done it. We have a new Grand Tour champion.
Here is your winner and new Grand Prix champion, the Demon, Dio Sebation!
Dio has done it. His father in attendance has just watched his son become the new Grand Tour champion. An incredible win by the Demon Dio Sebation. Now him and his sister, the witch, the descendants of the great Demon King Sebation, are both GTW champions. Congratulations to the Demon, and I could see Hercules inside the steel cage, completely furious, too late to catch Dio Sebation as he climbs the cage. Dio, who had lost the World Heavyweight title in a all-for-nothing ladder match against Hercules because of outside interference, has finally gotten his payback, has finally beaten Hercules at his own game. With the steel cage in place, there was no one to help Hercules, and when it came to a one-on-one battle, Dio Sebation came on top. Congratulations to the descendant of the great Demon King. Congratulations to you, Demon Sebation. My hat's off to you, our new Grand Tour champion. What an amazing night we have. Tune in next Wednesday for GTW Wednesday Night Brawl, where we'll be having our main event, Toni Storm going one-on-one with Amber Charlotte. For those of you watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell to know when the newest episode of Grand Tour Wrestling comes to you. This is Infinite Fantasy signing out. May your fantasies be infinite.